Hello, Isle. This week I had a video planned and it got disrupted for reasons that I will explain now, I suppose. I had a video planned that I'm going to make at some point about tedious tasks, about the importance of tedious tasks, and how, we have our phones, which are just filled with nightmares. They're just filled with nightmares and horrors all the time of things that are happening in the world, as well as just anything distracting, right? This is not a new sentiment. This is not a creative sentiment. It's just kind of how it is. So that video is getting delayed because yesterday I was going to work on it and I did not, because I was making a really good soup last night and I took a bite to test it and I got a piece of chicken stuck in my throat, like to the point where I was like really choking. It was hard to breathe for a little bit, and then I was able to get some up, and then it was easier to breathe, but I couldn't swallow, and I couldn't really talk very well, and it was pretty scary. So really this video is just a time capsule, I guess. I don't even know if I'll make this one live or if I'll keep it unlisted, or maybe I'll do one early and one later or whatever. But it's really just like a time capsule of how I'm feeling. I don't feel great. I think, so to give you like the full backstory of what happened is I ate the chicken, it got lodged in my throat. I kind of threw stuff up everywhere. And then the paramedics came and they were like, hey, it doesn't sound like it's tracheal. It sounds like it's just stuck in your esophagus. And then as we were like walking out to get into the ambulance, I started to feel a little bit better. So I told him, hey, I don't really want to pay for this ambulance ride. Whether they send me a bill or not, I don't know. We'll see. So then I told my partner, who was really great throughout all of this. I'm very grateful for her. I told her like, hey, if it is still there in like half an hour, 40 minutes, we'll go to urgent care or go to the emergency room. And it was still there. I was just puking up like anything that couldn't go back down, essentially. So I was getting really dehydrated and I had this thing stuck in my throat and there was a lot of pressure. So there's pressure on my breathing. It wasn't necessarily like I couldn't breathe, but it was like more labored, and everything in my neck was like flexed for that time. Then we went to urgent care and they basically told us, hey, we don't do that. So then we went to the emergency room and waited. And for those of you that don't know, one thing that you can do if you're choking, that's actually really well proven, is drink a Coke, drink a Coca-Cola. It's the acid in the Coke as well as the bubbles can force things down or force things back up. So that's a thing. The thing that they did is they gave me some meds, obviously through like an IV because I couldn't swallow anything. And then those meds were to get my throat to calm down a little bit, be less tense. And then I drank some soda, and eventually it did go down. But by the time that happened, I had basically been like half puking for like 3.5 hours. So everything hurt. My body was just exhausted. It was not a fun time. And it's also very scary. If that chicken went down a different orientation, it could have been more tracheal and I could have been losing air. So I'm very grateful that it didn't take out any breathing abilities, but it definitely was still scary. I don't know what I expect to really gain out of making this video. I think nothing. I think it's just like an interesting thing where I won't have this current perspective that I have forever, and it won't be as fresh, right? So that was 24 hours ago is when I started to choke. So my throat is still very sore. Talking is kind of labored, which is also why I didn't want to make the video and do a bunch of takes and stuff. Yeah, my stomach hurts, obviously. Like, I just feel bad. But I'm on the up and up. We're feeling better. So I think like in terms of how I'm feeling emotionally, like very grateful, but also like as I process it more and more, it is like, a dangerous and scary thing. I think, man, I don't know. I talked to my sister, who's a nurse, and she's seen people like have this happen. Everybody was very nice. They were like, this happens all the time. It's always chicken. It takes slightly too large of a bite, or you don't chew it enough, or whatever, or you just like have a GI thing or something. But I was hearing stories of people not eating for a long time after this happening. So luckily I had great support from my partner, and so we started with just like a smoothie and a milkshake, and we've kind of gradually worked up from there. So now I feel good about eating generally. I'm definitely being more cautious, but I don't think there's a huge like psyche thing going on, which is good. I am just like still kind of in shock that that could have been much worse. And I'm grateful that it wasn't, but it's like, what are we doing here? So I don't know if this will actually spur any changes in my life, or if I'll keep on going down the same road. I mean, I'm quite happy going down the same road. It's just, I'll be going down the same road with a big old hospital bill, which sucks. Yeah. So I don't know if something like this has happened to you. I guess comment about it. Let me know what your experience was like, or if there's anything helpful for right after that happens. I'm not really new to medical issues, but this one was definitely a little bit more jarring than others. Also, I guess if you want to take something away from this video, the first thing is to always chew your food a lot. That's a big one. Chew more than you think you should. And the second one, I suppose, would be that if you do start choking, grab a Coca-Cola and see if that'll dislodge things if you don't have somebody who can do the Heimlich or anything like that. Yeah. But yeah, just grateful. I'm going back to work tomorrow. I think it'll be good to get out of the house. One day of recovery, I think, is plenty. All right, well, I'll see you next week. Sorry that this one is kind of a downer. I hope that you are all, just take a second for gratitude of being here, being alive, because it could not be, and it's a silly fun world that we live in. So I'll see you next week with something more upbeat, probably. I hope you have a great week. Bye.